a great passage in the New Testament where God speaks. We have many passages where Jesus speaks, but not too many passages where God speaks. This is the great moment when God announces, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." All four Gospels attest to this great story. It happens in an interesting way in an interesting place. John the Baptizer is out in the wilderness. He looks odd. He eats an odd diet. He has a camel hair's coat and a big leather belt. I guess the analogy today would be kind of like a biker. He's got the long hair, a leather coat, a big belt that says Harley Davidson, right? He doesn't look like your local preacher. He's eating an odd diet. Locusts, which are the flying insects, when they die and drop to the ground in the arid weather there in that part of the world, they dry out. They become kind of a crunchy snack. And honey, which is made from bees. Nothing is killed in order for him to eat. The locusts are already dried, they've died. The honey is made by bees. He is a mystical person. And he is inviting people into the Jordan River to baptize them. Baptizo. This is a new ritual. He says it is for the forgiveness of sins, to wipe away all those things in your life which separate you from God. When Jesus steps into the flowing water, the heavens split open. A dove descends, and the voice of God is heard. Just as with Moses, the voice of God is heard. Remember, Moses went to the burning bush, right? And the voice of God told him, "You will free my people." Just as with Moses, Jesus splits the water when he comes up out of the water to be baptized. So Moses also split the water, remember, as they were leaving Egypt. So the motif here, the biblical motif, is this is the new Exodus. The old Exodus was God claiming his people and releasing them from captivity in Egypt. The new Exodus is God extending the franchise to everybody in the world. You can be free. You can be free from all the things that have held you back. You can be free from all the hurts that have brought you down. You can be free from all of the things that set you in motion and said, "This is the way that you have to be." This is the new Exodus. And Jesus is the new leader. He breaks the water. The heavens are split. There's another time when something is split in the book of Mark. That's right at the end of the book of Mark. When Jesus ascends into heaven, it says the veil of the temple is rent from top to bottom. So the splitting of the heavens and the splitting of the veil are like the bookends of the book of Mark. And between the radical, splitting open revelation of God is the story of Jesus. Some people speak of this as a moment of clarity. Our AA and NA brothers and sisters, people in recovery, talk about a moment of clarity. And that's when you finally see things as they really are. Many times that's when you hit bottom. You see that you've alienated all the people from you and you can't do any more without God. Sometimes a moment of clarity is an aha moment. When you come to see something in a new and radical and different way. My daughter Anna, Sue and I sent her on a habitat
trip to Nicaragua to build a house there when she was graduating from school in Chapel Hill. Now, Chapel Hill students, you may not know, have a pretty strong sense of entitlement. They think that God lives right here with them. And not only do they have a sense of entitlement, since there's a bunch of faculty and staff that are making a pretty good living up there, the kids dress pretty well, and they drive nice cars, and it's, pretty chummy. And I had a beat-up Toyota that was brown, and named it Tater, because that's what it was. So we sent her to build a habitat house in Nicaragua her senior year. She came back and was talking about this poor village where they built a little house out in the jungle. And said the last week that they were there, all the people in the village brought everything they had, all the food they had, and cups and saucers, none of them matched, and they had a big dinner. And she said to Sue and I, Daddy, they brought everything they had. We're glad to share it. And I said, yeah. And she said, well, I just wanted to let you know that I get it now. And I said, what's that, honey? She said, I get it. You don't owe me a college education. You don't owe me the nice clothes that I wear. You don't owe me the little car that I drive. I see now this is all a blessing. A moment of clarity when you see the world as it is. God speaks, the heavens open up. It's also a symbolic moment. We continue to live out this symbolism over and over again in the church. We baptize babies and children, adults. We do it three ways. We can sprinkle them, we can pour, or we can dunk. All are effective. If you are on your deathbed and sick and unable to go under the waters, the Methodist way is we can sprinkle a little bit. Most of the time, when I baptize a child or an infant, it's by pouring. I dip the water in my hand and place it on their head. We can also do a baptism by total immersion, if that's what you would like. We can go to a place where you can go underneath the water. Some people say you can only do it by immersion. We don't believe that. As Jeanette Ray, who was a member of my church in Carborough, said when she was growing up on a farm, she and her cousin decided to baptize a goat. And they pulled the goat down to the pond, and they were trying to pull it in to baptize it, and it wouldn't go, and it wouldn't go. And so finally the cousin said, oh, just go ahead and pour on it like the Methodists do, we'll let it go to hell.